Hi, so welcome to your lipstick and lip balm kit. A big favourite class here, but whilst everything's on the change, offering it out to you. So it is really important that you watch this video because it's a little bit more difficult than some of our other classes, but I'm up for you having a go at home. So in your kit, you've got everything, and all you need to do is prepare a double burner. So you need some boiling water in a small pan, something that this would fit inside, and that's ready to go for me there. And then you've got a little mini scales. You can also use your own scales if you prefer, because mine are actually in Chinese, where I used to live. But basically you just pop your pot on when they're off, you press the middle button, and that resets it to 0. Just double check that there's a little G in the corner. That means grams, and that's what we're looking to make. And we're going to do the lipsticks first because they take a few minutes to harden, and then we'll do the lip balms. Okay, so I'm just checking the ingredients. It's 3 grams of white beeswax. Hopefully you can guess what that is. The little white pellets. And it is quite important that you are pretty accurate with the ingredients. That's why I give you these digital scales. Because, you know, it's taken a few tests to get it right, so you don't want to kind of go over or under. You might have a lip balm that's a little bit waxy, and just note it is a digital scale, so it's now saying 3.0. It's not saying, that's not 30. Okay, so the quantity that you should have inside is, oh, you see, is about that much there, just like probably about a small teaspoon. Right. The next thing I need is some shea butter. Again, you'll have a smaller container than this. This is the stuff that's going to set the lipstick. We don't actually use it for lip balm. So I'm going to do a bit of maths here. I'm just going to keep adding, which means I need the scales to go up to 3 plus 3, 6. So, 2 seconds. You know, as guarantee I get all, like, there you go, perfect. Lucky. All right, keep that out. And I need 3 grams of my chosen oil. Now, I would recommend that you get a spoon and that you pour it in gently. Otherwise, this is definitely the one where you can ruin the lipstick by pouring in too much. So I'm going to go up to 9. So I'm going to put a little bit on my spoon. I'm going to pour. That's 7.9. It does go up very quickly with the liquid, so it was quite a surprise. And 8.5, 9.1. All right, 0.1 over. We'll accept that because it's quite hard to remove liquid afterwards. All right, so my mixture looks like that there. Now the only other thing I need to add to it is colour. So for the colour, if you're lucky, you might have had a little spoon, but if not, you can use your own spoon. And I'm trying to think what colour I need actually. I've got so many lipsticks. I might go for a russety type colour today. Maybe I might put a bit of russet and a bit of a reddy pink. This is definitely a perk of the job. I really don't need a lot. I've got this tiny little spoon, and I've literally put, I don't even know how much that is, honestly, such a small amount, even less for the lip balms later. I'm just going to add a little bit of coral to that brown, brighten it up a little bit. Oh, the lid's still on this one. Just a tiny bit. There we go. We'll put a bit too much. Oh well. Maybe more of a night out one. All right, so now I'm going to heat that up. So I'm just going to leave that on there for a moment. The scent I will add when I take it off the heat. And whilst that's preparing, I want to talk you through this mould, okay? I don't want you to look at this mould too much. When I give it to you, it will be 100% ready to go. So don't tinker with the screws and stuff. But if you do, or someone does, it's important that that's tight. And then this one here has 2 little kind of bits sticking out, and then there's 2 little holes here, and that just sits in there. It isn't a firm fit. It just hits it and just sits in it. It can be pulled up. It can't be moved right and left. But try your best not to look at that too much in the class. I don't let anyone look at it before they use it because I don't want them to see what's inside, because it ruins the fun of it all. So I'm just going to leave that there a moment, and then I just need my spoon again to give this a little, you'll have a little stirrer. I'm not very organised today. And all I'm waiting is for it all to melt, okay? I don't want any little blobs left inside. It's looking delicious. Let me just quickly show you. A bit dangerous, but really happy with that colour. That is the problem with lipstick making, you do have to make a bit of a gamble when you pour those dyes in, making sure that you get the right colour. So I'll prepare my scent because I do want to move quite quickly. When this comes off, I want to add scent, I want to add it into there before it starts to harden. It's such a small quantity of liquid that it doesn't take long until it starts to harden, so don't go and get a cup of tea or anything. There we go, making sure all that colour is in there. Try not to stir it like all around the pan as well. As you can see, I'm just stirring the bottom bit, because if you spread it all over the pan, then you're going to end up having problems trying to like get the quantity that you need out of it. It might end up being too little because it's all over the place. There we go. A nice liquid has been created. And then I'm just going to add 2 drops of my chosen scent. So you just need to give the bottle a bit of a squeeze. Two squeezes, I mean, rather than two drops. Actually, each one comes out about twice. Give it another little stir, and then an adult would definitely need to help with this. It's quite important that you get it right in those holes. You've got these little grooves here to help. I didn't realise I've got all notes all over my hand. Pour it in quite quickly. If you pour it in slowly, you'll have this weird staggered effect. And I'm filling it right to the top, right to the brim, so it's like almost popping out over the top. All right, so now I'm just going to chill out. I've got some left over. I'm going to need that again, so I'm just actually going to just hold that to the side, and I'm going to grab another pot, but you'll have to wait until your pot's ready. So give me a second, because we'll get straight into lip balms. So we're going to leave that to cool, and again, you don't want to disturb it, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to move it somewhere else. I'm just going to leave it to relax. And I'm going to get my weighing scales out again. This time we're using yellow beeswax. The ingredients are 7.5 of yellow, 15 grams of oil, and 1 pinch of pigment, like a tiny amount of pigment. You might want to do the same, as I'm going to use much less than that because I don't want so many, but you probably want more, but you've got more time than you do in class. So you'll be able to, because that quantity makes 6 products. So you may want to halve it or third it, and therefore make a few batches, and then you can add different pigments or different oils depending on what you've got at home. So just a top tip there. So I'm just trying to do some maths here because I don't really want to make much because I've got so many lip balms. So you should be putting in, for the full quantity, 7.5. I'm going to go thirds, so I'm going to go 2.5. Now, oil-wise, I'll give you an oil, but it is just Sainsbury's almond oil, that one. The same if I use coconut oil, it would just be, you know, whatever supermarket. Basically, if it's good enough to, you know, put in your body, it's totally fine to put on your body. Same with olive oil. I use the olive oil from Superdrug, actually, the one that is actually for your skin, but just because it's a little bit milder and it doesn't have so much colour in it. The same with avocado oil. I find that can sometimes be quite dark in colour. But any oils that you have, and you could have a little, you know, mix. You could also do half-half. Forgetting where I am now. 7.5 of this, so it's more oil in the... I went a bit over there. I should have used a spoon. Because I went over, I'm going to put a bit more beeswax in to balance that out. There you go. But again, I'm not on my top game today. And a little bit of reddy colour, I think, this one. And this one really doesn't require, and of course I could leave it like that now. I don't actually have to add any colour to it, but I like a bit of colour. But did you see the end of the spoon? A dot of colour, because I just want it to be like a little tint. And again, I'll try and show you on the screen, but I don't know if it's that possible. Sorry, I should have 2 cameras on the go. Just a tiny drop of it. So I'm just going to heat that up. And whilst I'm waiting for that to cook, I'm getting my tray ready. Not almost move that. I've got my lip balm cases. You need to open them up and then leave the lids on the side and make sure they're sitting upright. Okay, so 1, 2, and then these ones can just sit anywhere, but the lids obviously need to be off because you're going to be pouring straight into these moulds. So that's all going on. What other tips can I give you? Oh yeah, you also have some packaging. So after you finish, you can decorate these with any like washi tape you may have at home, any ribbon, any Sharpie pen, any pencils, just to decorate them for a gift. I didn't put much colour in there, so I'm going to use this spoon that was my last one, because actually hopefully some of that colour will come off. So this is a much more translucent batch, but that's what I'm looking for. It's just an easy lip balm. You can add a bit more scent colour, but I find lip balms have got that flat edge and you end up applying it a little bit differently, or the ones with your fingers, so you don't want to end up looking like a clown, so do be careful, I think, with it. And there you go, that's already melted, that's nice and quick. Now what I'll do whilst I'm pouring that is I'll actually put this last little bit that's now solidified back on, because there's a couple of little, I'm going to try and pick this up carefully, sinkholes that have created where it's cooled. I want to fill those because I want as much lipstick as possible in my lipstick, so I'm going to wait for that to heat and I'm going to re-put it in there in a moment. Again, same with scent, depending on the quantity. In total, for the 6 lip balms, you need like 6 drops, so like 1 drop per lip balm. So you can do the maths on how many you do, depending on the quantity of lip balm that you make. A little stir. And then you just start pouring. These ones are quite hard, the thin ones. The fatter ones take quite a bit of quantity. I'm going to do, which ones do I like? I like this one. So yeah, nice steady hand. And there. But always leave a little bit over. Don't try now to fill a third one just with this tiny little bit, because you'll never fill it, and then when these have sinkholes in, you're not going to have anything to replace it with. So always leave a little bit left over, and then fill that one fully on your next batch. If you did accidentally fill it and then you made another batch, what you could always do is just have a 2-tone lip balm. If it's just for you, it doesn't really matter. After a few wears, you'll change to a different colour. So that's liquid again, so I'm just going to fill those sinkholes. Ooh, it doesn't really matter if it goes all over the place. Turn the cooker off now. I can replace those sinkholes in a minute, but I'm going to just, there's about 5 minutes where I literally have to sit here. I might go and wash my hands, so I'm just going to turn the camera off, and then I'll come back to you in a second and explain how to turn that into a proper lipstick. All right, give me a second. Okay, it's been about 5-10 minutes and I'm back. This one's good to go, so I'm just going to pop a lid on that one. And the same with this one. I should have done the sinkhole and just added a tiny bit more, maybe a bit of kitchen roll to clean him up, and then he's ready, and then I didn't do that one. So there you go, those are my lip balms done. And then we're going to do the lipstick. Okay, so you've got this weird little scraper. It is there on purpose, because what you've got to do is I need a clean top surface. Okay, so just slide him along until that is flat. This could be used in another lip balm actually. It's got a nice strong colour to it. It's got similar ingredients, so you could, if you liked that colour, the next lip balm batch you did, you could keep that, or you could put it in a pot like this and apply it with a brush. Okay, this is the technical bit, the bit that I really need you to watch. Okay, so I'll put it this way so you can see the little screw. So I want you to lift this top bit off. If one of these starts to raise with it, then just tap it down with your finger. I was lucky there, they've both come up nicely. Okay, so that now can be discarded and those are sticking up. What you're then going to do is you're going to take your lipstick container and you're going to roll it all the way to the top, and then you're going to lower it down onto that, all the way down to the bottom, like so. All right, let's do that again. So I do both at once, rolling the lipstick all the way up, taking your lipstick holder, lowering it down. Now currently this is quite tight and it may trap the lipstick inside. So what I now do is do lefty-loosey, so rolling this just a couple of turns, okay? You don't need to take it apart. I just want to loosen these two parts so that it's ready for this to be removed. And then, Exciting times. We have a lipstick. Rolling it down. Ah, I love that moment. So it's quite nerve-wracking, even when I've done it many times, that maybe I've done the recipe wrong or left it too short. So the longer you can leave it, the better. Don't rush to come back to it even after 10 minutes. Give it half an hour if you can. Nice and solid. Rolling it down. And there I have 2 fancy lipsticks. Just a quick note before you obviously start your next batch of lipsticks. Just roll that so that is closed tightly again, and then that there needs to go into those 2 holes there. You might want to give it a little clean with a tissue. You shouldn't have to clean inside there. If they've come out perfectly, it should be absolutely fine. And there you are, ready to go again. All right, hope you enjoy making lipsticks. Bye.